Anybody on the phone that has a question? Okay, let me check online and see if anybody online has a question. Wow, you guys are a quiet group. Oh, okay. Kia, let me see. Kia, are you there? Or did you lower your hand? Okay. No? Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out how to unmute somebody. Let's see. Hold on, Kia. Let me see if I can do this. Oh.
And Tammy, while you're doing that, I will just remind the folks on the call that, again, if they just want to go to www.sixfigurepro.com, and that's spelling out the number 6, that's SIX, figurepro.com, and they'll be able to see this information.
Thank you. And Kia, I did figure out how to unmute you, so you should be available to talk.
Okay, can you hear me, Tammy, now?
I can. Thank you so much. Appreciate your patience.
Sure. Hi, Tammy. As you know, this is Kia, and first of all, I want to thank you for all this. The workshop. It's been a really good workshop. Yeah, and then also, sure. And also, I have a question.
Sure.
And, how do you get out of the negotiation? When you're interviewing, and especially if the first one is with the recruiter, and it's just pressing that, how much you want to make, and I say I'm negotiable. But again, they go around and around and till you give them a ball figure.
Sure. That's a very, very good question. That comes up a lot. That's a very popular question. And it's a very important question because you do not want to give them a figure. In negotiations, one of the axioms of negotiating is the first person that mentions a dollar amount loses. So there are several techniques that you can use to avoid talking about money prematurely. First of all, understand that recruiters and HR people have to ask that question because they want to put you in a pile, in either the yes pile, or when it comes to dollar amount, you could be too high or too low. So the way first you say, well, I'm completely negotiable. If that doesn't work, which it usually doesn't, then you can say, well, we're still kind of in the exploratory phases of looking at this, and I don't know the job responsibilities of this position enough to let you know what my salary expectations are. Once I find out more information about the job, then maybe I can give you my salary expectations. If they ask what you've made in the past, you can always say, well, that might be an apples to oranges comparison depending on what the job is that we're talking about. I've been well paid for my positions in the past because I've been able to provide a lot of value, but it will depend on what this position is. So I wouldn't want to give you what I've made in the past because it may or may not be relevant to what this position would need. And really, if they press you, you can say, honestly, I'd rather not talk about money at this time because challenge is the most important thing to me. And I'm sure that we can come to an agreement, or the company and I can come to an agreement, if we both feel I'm a right fit for the position. And if they continue to press, you can use all of those different things. If they continue to press, then you can always say, just give them a range, or what I would prefer you to do is say, well, what range did you have in mind in paying? And I'll let you know if we're even in the ballpark. And have them state a range first.
Okay, that's great. It's just, as a matter of fact, yesterday I had an interview, and then I went around about it, and I gave them different things, and but still they keep coming back, and finally I had to give them a range. I gave them a range.
Well, make it a wide range. Make it a really wide range. I mean, literally like a range of $30,000 to $40,000 at least. And make sure that you know going into any conversation what your deal breaker dollar amount is. And you really, with a reasonable expectation, you really shouldn't shoot really low. You should really shoot, at least how much you were making before, if not higher. And honestly, my clients generally get, when they use just simple negotiating steps, they get on average right now, they're getting about 12% higher than what was originally offered. So keep that in mind, too. You can negotiate once they've offered you the job. Sometimes they're surprised, but most of the time with a higher level position, they're not surprised in negotiating. It's just part of the steps.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks. It was great to talk to you again, Kia.
Sure.
So Sharon in Lee Summit says, how much do you charge to write a resume for people? And I'm not going to give you a dollar amount. Actually, it does depend on what your needs are, what your resume looks like right now, how much quantifiable results you have, what level that you're seeking. Generally, I can tell you for an executive resume, it is in the range of, most people charge between $600 and $1,250, and where I worked at the executive career firm, it was $950. I can tell you that I don't charge that much, but it will depend on your particular situation. And Sharon, if you want to have a conversation, conversations with me to discuss that possibility are free. So if you want to just email me at Tammy, Tammy, at beyondjobsearching.com. I'd be happy to set up a time and we can have a conversation and see if you're interested in that. Does anybody else have any questions? I know we're a little over time, but if there's anybody that has any questions, please let me know. All right, I'll give everybody just another second or two. Okay, we've got somebody. Now that I know how to work everything. Glenn from Kansas City, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got in here just a little bit late, but, on LinkedIn, resume, a lot of times they're looking for chronological job history and things like that. If you're currently unemployed or way, way underemployed, how do you, handle that situation?
Sure.
My position was eliminated. I, was doing quite well there, but since then, not so much.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about your particular situation right now. How long ago were you unemployed, and what kind of job do you do? What kind of career are you in?
I was a branch manager, and I'd rather not say the company.
Sure.
Sure. I was, sales function and the manager function. I had about 15 reports, and it was a multi-million-dollar company. But, so.
Okay. The reason I ask, the reason I ask is because if it were some kind of technical field, you could, or even accounting field, sometimes you can do some consulting afterwards. But if you're a sales branch manager, there's not a lot of consulting out there for sales branch managers, so you can't really put yourself down as being self-employed. You can, when it comes to LinkedIn, of course, they're wanting some chronological history. There's not a lot of ways that you can minimize that in your LinkedIn profile, but on your resume, I recommend a functional resume. In fact, most of the people that that I do a resume for, I write a functional because it fits their situation. And Glenn, for your situation, I would say as far as a resume goes, when they see that, functional means you put all of your skills up at the top with a great summary statement, and then at the bottom half you put your accomplishments, but you separate your accomplishments from your career experience. So it doesn't highlight the fact that you've been unemployed for a certain number of months. So down at the very bottom, almost like a footnote, then that's where you put your career history, and you use no months, just the years. And actually, if you want to attend next week's teleclass, we're going to go into detail about how to write a resume that minimizes that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, that's what I would recommend for you. And any kind of volunteer work that you can do always looks very good, too. Even if it's 5 hours a week, 3 hours a week. If you can show that you're making a contribution somewhere, even now, then that helps.
What about, side jobs or things like that? Should that even be mentioned?
It depends on whether they're relevant or not. if you're grossly underemployed, you don't want to put anything that's not relevant. If you can, for instance, if you've got a particular job right now, if you're underemployed, if you're working part-time, any kind of side jobs, if you can pull achievements or skills from that are relevant to what you're looking for next, if you're looking for another high-level sales management position, if you can show that you've got some persuasion, if you show that you've got some great customer connection, some customer loyalty, those are all things that people looking for high-level sales management, whether it be account manager, outside, inside sales, that's what they're looking for. So even if you're working part-time at Home Depot, if you've got something that you can pull from there to show that you've increased their customer loyalty, increased their brand awareness, increased, even if it has anything to do with sales, showing sales as a percentage increase, then all of that's going to help. And a functional resume allows you to do that by extracting that from the experience that you have down at the bottom.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, Glenn?
That's it.
All right. Thanks. Okay. I'll go ahead and take one more question, and I'll look online and see if there's anybody who typed in a question. And if you're on the phone and you'd like to ask a question, you can hit *2 to raise your hand. Okay. I guess that's it. It's about 10 after, so I really appreciate you guys listening in today. Thank you so much for everybody that attended today. I really appreciate it. And we'll have another call next week, same time at noon Central Time, and it will be about constructing a six-figure resume. And I'll give you an example. I'll send an example of a resume that I write, a type of resume that I write, and the one that I'll send, the gentleman got a job within a couple of weeks, and it was a six-figure position, so I will send that out. If you have any questions after you listen to this, between now and next week, feel free to email me at tammy@beyondjobsearching.com, or any of the emails that I sent. I'll just reply back to that. You can reply back to those emails, and I'll answer them for you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, everybody. So have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next week, hopefully. Bye now. Thanks, Louis.
Thank you, Tammy.
Week.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.